Hello, my astrology friends and family. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial here with the October 2022 video horoscopes for each of the 12 signs. And I'm calling October the month of the turning point month. Why is that? Because three planets are turning direction. At the beginning of the month, Mercury is turning direct in Virgo. Later on, Pluto is turning direct in Capricorn. Towards the end of the month, on the 23rd, Saturn is turning direct in Aquarius, and at the very end of the month, the last 3 days, Mars is turning retrograde in Gemini. Crazy stuff. Why is that? When planets are turning direction, and so many at the same month, within 30 days, 4 planets, guys, are gonna turn direction. It's a pivotal time when events in our life also turn around, when events in the world also start changing. You'll see it will make a big difference this month. And the month ends with a big bang. First starts with Mercury turning direct, Pluto, Saturn, usually planets turning direct lead to things improving or becoming easier, more according to plan, not needing so much effort. So in many areas of your life, in at least 3 or 4 areas of your life, the beginning of the month up to the 20th, 24th, 5th, there will be things that becoming easier gradually, you'll notice. And in the world as well. But at the end, Mars is turning retrograde. This is when things become a bit more complicated for the whole world. And an eclipse. Eclipses always are a bit of a crisis period. And I'm going to talk a quick summary of what this means for the whole world. And then we're going to go into the 12 signs. But before I go, I want to make an announcement that we're making a big discount on all courses of the late great astrologer Nicola Stojanovic, who passed away last year. He is the most incredible astrologer with the most precise predictions I've ever seen. What we're going through right now, he predicted it on videos. The proceeds will go to his daughter, who is trying to continue his work and is trying to bring out more books that he was ready to publish. Hopefully this will help her with her work in more classes that he did. But the only classes that are ever available from Nicola Stojanovic, with the most incredible astrology method that I've seen, that he developed himself with precision that people thought he was psychic, is and very easy as well, is available only on astrolada.com, and we're making 30-40% discount on his courses for the next couple of weeks to 3 weeks. But now let's continue. First, Mercury turns direct, and initially at the very beginning of the month in Virgo is becoming visible. It might be quite good for the markets. It might be quite good for anyone from the beginning of the month who wants to publish, to write, to be heard. With businesses will improve, complications connected to communications will improve, connected to papers, to documents, learning will become, and any kind of communications and relationships generally should improve with people around you. But very good for anything that is written, spoken, business, marketing, and so on, to publish, to put it out there. And then Pluto turns direct. Some internal or external power struggles will start getting resolved, especially with authority figures, because it's in the sign of Capricorn. And then on the 23rd, Saturn becomes direct. But it means Saturn is stationary the whole month. And pretty much Mars is also stationary. It looks like they're sitting in one space. Mars in Aquarius, Mars in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius, holding a trine actually, which is good. So it might feel like some areas in your life are kind of stuck, that they're not moving, but it's almost like the quiet before everything turns around. There is like a peaking and it reaches a final level where it can't carry on like that, and then it reverses. But maybe because Saturn is in the sign of Aquarius, there might be certain important reversals, turning points about society, about any kind of restrictions imposed on society, that it might be like a final reversal of such matters. And that's the last time Saturn is retrograde, actually, in Aquarius, by the way. So any kind of restrictions imposed in society maybe should be reversed. Maybe some kind of new laws that can be created starting from the end of the month. and some kind of society overall in the economy. This is the economy. Any kind of limitations that were like restrictions and so on should be also reversed all over the world, hopefully. But then when having Mars turning retrograde towards the last 3 days, 4 days of October in Gemini, and retrograde means it starts moving backwards, and I'm hoping for retrograde planet also means things kind of being reined in a little bit. So I'm really praying that Mars in Gemini symbolizes fighting between brothers, fighting between neighbors, fighting between relatives. And we're seeing what's happening in Azerbaijan and Armenia, Russia and Ukraine. Neighbors versus neighbors, states after state for states. I hope that it's some kind of a reversal in that direction, or reining in, or turning of direction in the wars that are being led right now between brotherly countries. So maybe if one is taken over now, there might be a change of direction who is taken over when the planet reverses happens. Plus, over the next 3-4 months after that, Mars retrograde can deepen the problems, but kind of with more cautionary approach, while they're being re-examined, and a lot of truth starts coming out about those problems. But the big thing is also the eclipse that is happening on the 25th. Eclipse season is starting from October. You can be felt even before, a month before that. And there will be next one is in November. It's happening at the beginning degrees of Scorpio. New moon eclipse, something new with the south node. And it's very crisis prone, this eclipse, because it's in Scorpio, is the sign of crisis. Something sudden, unexpected, something that is removed from our lives, that is released because it's the south node, but only to make space for something new, which is Venus, indicated by Venus and the planet. And when there is a good planet, like we say, benefic with an eclipse, like Francis said, the ancients said that the malevolence or the difficulty of eclipses is decreased, or it's neutralized in some sense. So yes, it can create some crisis that happens around the world, but it will have like a silver lining in it, or in your own life as well. Early born Scorpios, early born Tauruses, early born Leos, early born or late, the late degrees as well of Libra can feel it. The late degrees of Aries can feel it. So some kind of a crisis, something new, but first you release something, so something new can be born, which is a Venus nature, like love or money or something that is brings happiness of some sort, material as well in some way. But the process involves releasing something first. Collectively, Scorpio is the sign of taxes. There might be, and this eclipse shows what will happen in the next 12 months. So maybe not immediately in October, but over the next 12 months, including 2023, there can be a big relief, possibly, or big changes in the tax system in certain countries, relief of debt of some sort of countries or of individual people, which I'm hoping for, or some big change that is starting to happen in the tax system. Hopefully not going up, but it's kind of a bit hard to say because it's with the south node. I'm hoping it's kind of less, and Scorpio also rules people's investments, finances, things like stock market, things like, and then there will be an eclipse in Taurus, which is again connected to prices, to money. So we're gonna see shakeups. We're already seeing it with the prices again, crisis with money, shakeups with that. And we're going to see investments or savings that they might be under some crisis there as well. It's just the beginning. And because Mars going retrograde, a lot of astrologers, financial ones, are expecting big financial crisis on the markets as well. I would advise you pension, K40, what was it? Where you keep your pension money or mutual funds or trusts or hedges, be careful. If you can withdraw your money, can be a good advice. If you can withdraw your money from a bank to have some cash, might be a good idea as well, because there can be big surprises there. And I think it might not be like totally you lose all your money or whatever, because Venus is in this eclipse. But the following one in November is not that easy. And because Venus is in this eclipse, if something happens with your savings or mutual trusts and investments or pensions and so on. Maybe there will be some kind of a silver lining, like the government can compensate for those things, or I'm hoping for that. But just start, you see big shakeups in those areas. So there you go, guys. And Mars going retrograde in Gemini. I talked a lot about that. They can be a big event in October or around the retrograde, the stationary period, connected to civil unrest, connected to Gemini's society as well. It's the towns, the cities, it's the people in them, and Mars is unrest. It's more violence of some sort. Fingers crossed, just be safe, I think Mars holds a very good trine with Saturn the whole time. So the situation can be under control, even if it's very much escalating. Like I said, also the situation between brother versus brother, Russia, Ukraine, especially on the stationary period, which is the whole October, can be escalating, but it's kind of held under control still because of the trine of Saturn. But when Mars starts moving retrograde, I hope that there might be some pulling back, basically in November, December, a little bit of this re-examining of the situation. Fingers crossed again. I'm not God to tell you, I'm just here trying to unfold the meanings of what is going to be happening. All right, so now let's start with the 12 signs. Pisces, Sun, Moon, rising October 2022. Pisces, this month there is a lot of focus on deep emotional level where you have some deep powerful realizations, but I also have some great news for you. But let's start one by one. At the very beginning of the month, Mercury is going to turn direct in your 7th house. So if there were some complications in relationships with clients, with people around you, with your partner, with your business partner, colleagues, peers, they'll start being resolved and things will improve in your relationships. Actually, if you've done your job well, if there were some, problems in relationships and you did the good conversations, then your relationships will even improve significantly. And then Mercury will move into your 8th house, where it was retrograde in September. So if there were some complications with insurances, inheritances, taxes, or some secrets, or something connected to mutual finances and resources with a partner, if there were some misunderstandings or problems, they'll start being resolved again in October and developing well. Actually, October is a really great time to deal with taxes, with insurances. Mercury will be visible in your 8th house to deal with mutual finances with a partner, even to make some investments, to decide where to put your money mutually together, or to develop strategies of financial security together with your marriage partner or business partner, if you have such. Plus for some deep intimacy and some deep conversation, or fantastic time for studying of the occult, of researching very deep, sometimes even scary and unpleasant topics. You can delve very, very profoundly into them and have a lot of insights. And if you want to study astrology, of course, you can study with me or the courses of Nicola Stojanovic, which are on discount now, and the proceeds go to his family, of course. But researching topics, deep topics, secrets, intimate conversations, these are, or even uncomfortable topics, and having deep realizations about your traumas, about an 8th house, about the deep motivations inside of you. Almost you'll be like an X-ray, reading people, reading yourself, having profound insights into many things. So fantastic time for research. And then Saturn is turning direct in your 12th house. It's been retrograde there for the last 4 months or something like that. So if you found yourself that you are blocked psychically, emotionally for the last few months, now Saturn turning direct towards the 23rd of October, you feel a gradual but huge relief of pent-up emotions and feelings. That's another emotional psychological house. If you've been working hard on some past on something from the past, on with a psychologist, digging, you might have like a reversal and release, like a liberation of some sort. And even if you've been working hard on getting rid of bad habits, because the 12th house rules addictions, bad habits, things that were self-sabotaging, you can finally feel a bit like a relief and things becoming easier, and that it's not so white knuckling it, for example. Or if you felt that you were bonded to some kind of addictions or some kind of obsessions as well, there can be a turning of direction and release of those psychological attachments, and much easier for you to let it go. Or if you felt very stuck or lonely, because Saturn, the 12th house, always brings the feeling of loneliness or confusion, as a lack of confusion as to the structure, confusion as to the unmotivation as well sometimes. It's been a long time there for 2 years and retrograde 2-3 times already in your 12th house. But that's the last time and it's starting to move direct. And especially if you felt like very stuck on something from the past, it might be a pain from the past, whatever, the 12th house rules, even past lifetimes and things that are now subconscious, but they're blocking us. You'll notice a considerable improvement from the end of October in such matters. Or if there was some stagnation and issues connected to foreign travels or to foreign relocation, or to something connected to faraway countries, it will start being resolved. Also, if you've been doing some deep research and study, that's another house of deep research, things will start clarifying to you, becoming clearer. Plus, when Saturn is in the 12th house, we're often very confused, especially while it's in retrograde motion. We're like, we're going back, trying to go back to the past, to hold on to the things that we think is part of us and who we are. But at the same time, feeling, I know something has to change, but I can't, I feel stuck, I'm confused, I don't know where to head. Well, with Saturn starting to move forward, you're not going to feel this tension, this pressure, and this blockage. All right. And on another level, we have eclipse. Oh no, Mars. Mars going retrograde towards the end of the month again, around 27, 28. It's going to go retrograde in your 4th house. And it's going to be retrograde the whole November, December, part of January. So some of you might be feeling the tension escalating in their role as a parent, because the 4th house is parenting, or in their role, in their relationship with the parent, with the family. You can notice that something is coming to a peak in the family situation, and when Mars turns retrograde, there'll be a change of the direction, how you feel about your family, how you feel about the place where you live, how you feel about your house, how you feel about your relationship with your parents. There might be a shift in your relationships, for better or worse. If there are things that you haven't said and have to be said and addressed that are problematic in your family overall, this is when things can explode, and you will address it, and you'll have 2.5 months to change the rules and to perfect it so it's more tolerable. Some kind of a responsibility can appear, or something to be fixed or changed. Sometimes people, the easiest thing is that they start some repairs around the home, because Mars is something physical to do. And during the retrograde period, they might drag longer than you expect, but the final result can be much better as well. But just be careful how you treat your loved ones, your family around, because if you say some too harsh things, or if they say it, it can escalate to a problem that takes a couple of months or a bit longer to solve. But otherwise, you can feel emotionally a little bit more. You see those planets all churning your psychological houses, the 12th, the 8th, the 4th, where it's the childhood memories. You might go down memory lane with Mars turning retrograde, exploring your family traumas. And then the 8th house illuminating, the sun illuminating in this dark house of traumas, giving answers, and Saturn unblocking some of the karma. 12th house is the most karmic house. This is when we pay the biggest karmas. When Saturn transits the 12th house, we bear the consequences of our past action. And now Saturn is turning direct there for the last time. So it's easing off this karma and giving you some realizations again. And Mars turning direction in a house of parents and ancestors. I mean, if you're going to therapy or something like that, it might be very, very a game-changing month, illuminating month. Or even if you're not going, you can have just some big revelation psychologically and kind of on a healing, deep healing, psychological, emotional level on your own. Or if you're studying astrology or something mystical, the 8 and the 12 houses are connected to astrology, psychology, the occult, mysteries, and planets. They're changing direction. Your consciousness is shifting on a deep emotional level. And it can, so you see a lot of the events are kind of hidden from the world but deeply impacting you psychologically. Of course, if there might be more material manifestation of the fourth house, like we say, the 8 is more taxes, insurances, inheritances. The 8 is more home, family, property, place of living. And then, of course, you're going to have an eclipse. This eclipse actually is on the 25th, and around the same time Mars goes retrograde, and around the same time Jupiter moves in your sign. So I think this Jupiter immediately is super protective power. So immediately it will protect you if there is any disruptive influence of this eclipse, because eclipses can be disruptive. But in you, the eclipse is happening in a house that is trying to you. So I don't see this eclipse hurting Pisces. If anything, it can be very useful. It's with Venus. Some new beginnings over the next 6 to 12 months that it unlocks connected to foreign places, higher education, teaching, faraway countries, traveling as well. That can unlock you on spiritual travels, so spiritual studies. So fantastic time for many Pisces to go on some exploration, with first starting from October, the deep exploring of the 8th house of the occult, then the 9th house, higher knowledge. Some of you can have like a big crisis of where your future is going, because 9th house is where do we think our future is, but it will really, but it has a silver lining, because your beliefs will be changing, and they are changing. And that will make you realign and change your plans for your future, what you want to study, what you want to work, where you want to be. And this will have a silver lining because it will lead you to more peaceful spiritual belief system and to unlocking more luck in your life, because it's one of the lucky house that the eclipses triggers. Plus Jupiter enters your sign from around 27, 28 of October. Will be there the whole November and most of December. So the later born Pisces, those from 25 to 30 degrees, all Pisces too will immediately feel raising of the vibration, more knowledge, more insight, more knowing where they're going, alignment to their path, lucky synchronicities, luck overall. This is Jupiter. More spiritual insights, but especially the later born Pisces, they can be, if you're 25 to 30 degrees Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, they can be great opportunities that come to you for growth, for studying, for traveling, for expansion, luck, for wealth as well. If it's your Sun in those degrees, your business can grow bigger, new inspirations, new ideas, and positive developments with males and important male figures in your life. If it's your Moon at 25 to 30 degrees Pisces, might be positive emotional relationships, parenthood, might be something connected to your personal life or emotional happiness. Or with women, if it's your Ascendant, your overall direction in life, new beginnings that unfold in easy way that bring potential for growth for the next 12 years of you. So inspiration will come back to you, Pisces, to revisit you, to help you lift up your energy again. Thank you so much, guys. I think that's all for you, and have a blessed October, and I'll see you in November.